Hey, welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're all having a magical day, and thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. Back with a new Mythic rank standard best of one Magic the Gathering Arena deck. This is Golgari High-Five, the color combination of green and black, focusing around Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea, along with a litany of creatures that have power greater than 5. In today's video, we'll break down the deck list a little bit more in depth with the strategies and synergies. Then we'll demonstrate this within our Mythic rank gameplay footage against the best decks and players in the world right now, wrapping up with our final thoughts, deck review, and collector's booster pack opening. Ayo River! So don't go anywhere. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to help support. You can also become a YouTube member, a Patreon supporter, as well as a Twitch Prime junkie, if you will. Remember, we have Sunday exclusive member-only live streams here on YouTube as well for those YouTube members. With this out of the way, let's take a look at our brand new deck. Golgari High-Five is in the house. We will be utilizing Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea for 3 mana as a 2/3 legendary creature, Elf Druid Scouty. We tap it to add 2 mana of any color combination, only to spend on creatures and activate abilities of creatures, okay? And whenever you cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea, and untap it, which allows us to retap it for more mana, and untap it and retap it, and so on the story goes. So, we have, first and foremost, the Shakedown Heavy for 3 mana as a 6/4. That's going to activate Gwenna. It has Menace as well, and when it attacks, defending player can choose to untap it, resulting in a draw for ourselves, which is quite cool. It's removing it from combat. But, you get the draw, and now it gets to defend, which is pretty cool. We have the Archfiend of Dross for 4 mana as a 6/6 with flying, entering the battlefield with 4 oil counters. At the beginning of your upkeep, you remove one. When there are no more, you lose the game. However, whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they're going to lose 2 life, and that, combined with the 6/6 attack in the air and non-legendary status allowing you to stack it, you're probably not going to lose the game. You're going to win far before those oil counters are gone. Okay, so we also have Phyrexian Obliterator for 4 as a 5/5 with trample, and if a source deals damage to the Obliterator, that source's controller has to sacrifice that many permanents, which is just gosh darn ridiculous. We're talking lands, their creatures, their enchantments, their artifacts, everything. Just get it out of here. Only 2 copies of this in deck because of the mana requirement. 4 copies of the Evolved Spinoderm as a 5/5, and it's going to enter the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it as well. It's got trample as long as it has 2 or fewer. And when it runs out of oil counters, it's going to self-sacrifice. As long as it has more than 2 oil counters, it's going to have hexproof, which is pretty cool, right? So no single targeted removal on the Spinoderm, and then later on it gets trample, which is really, really quite nice. So all of these cards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 different cards, all have multiple copies, can be played on top of Eyes of Gaea, allowing you to untap and play another one. Because if we have 4, like Gwenna's out on 3, turn 4 we have 4 mana, right? Tap Gwenna for 2 of your regular land, right? That's going to get a Spinoderm in play. Gwenna untaps, you still have 2 regular land, and Gwenna to untap, or tap again for 2, which is another 4. 8 mana on turn 4 is ridiculous, and you're probably going to win the game if you're able to get that, and that is our main playline that we're looking to accomplish, okay? Of course, with all the big creatures, we've got a couple copies of Fight Rigging here, and Enchantment Hideaway 5, looking at the top 5, grabbing one into exile, and then when we fulfill the requirement here, power 7 or greater on one of our creatures, we get to play that card without casting its mana. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, right? So that's going to help you get to that 7. Of course, we have the Heavy at 6, goes to 7 immediately. We have the Archfiend at 6, goes to 7 immediately. Very, very easy to accomplish here. We have a little bit more ramp within the deck with the Armored Scrap Gorger, also giving us graveyard control, which is very important. Atraxa is everywhere. Just get that out of here, Dougie. 0/3, you tap it, exile card from a grave, put an oil counter on it. When you get 3 oil counters, you get +3/+0. So not only is it mana ramp, but it's also graveyard control. And finally, pretty formidable 3/3 for 2. That's definitely not bad. And then our last creature here will be the Evolving Adaptive for 1. It's a 0/0 entering the battlefield with an oil counter on it and receiving +1/+1 for each oil counter that it does have. Whenever you play a creature with greater power or toughness, either or, then the adaptives, it's going to get an additional oil counter on it, which is really quite nice. And then it's removal, baby. Let's go. We got 3 copies of Cut Down, 1 mana, instant speed, destroying target creature with total power and toughness 5 or less. Go for the Throat for 2 mana, also at instant speed, destroying target non-artifact creature. And Shoulder its Edict for 2 instant speed, allowing us to choose 1. Opponents will sacrifice a creature, a non-token creature, a creature token, right? And then finally a planeswalker. So you get to choose one of the 3, which is quite nice, and it's non-targeted, so you know you can get through things like hexproof and indestructible, even because it's a sacrifice effect, which is quite nice. Very simple deck, very easy deck to play. Of course, there's a Who Endures and Mire for utility lands, the Glade and the Waste for consistency of our mana base, because we like to play the Obliterator. But at the end of the day, the Scrap Gorger fixes our mana base, the Gwenna will fix our mana base, and Fight Rigging can cast regardless of its mana cost. So a really, really friendly deck. Honestly, this is a fantastic build if you're just looking to have fun with a fairly strong deck. It's definitely not weak. You look for hands that have a very nice curve, right? You want to be playing on turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Ideally, it's Gorger on 2, Gwenna on 3. Both of them is fantastic, if not some removal within that, of course. And then, you know, activating Gwenna on 4 with a double play is ideal. If you don't get there, you know, just apply as much pressure as you can, and it should be good. So now that you know how to play the deck, let's showcase that within the top ranks of the game. Of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't go anywhere, because we will also shred open this collector booster, which is no joke. These bad boys are expensive, dog. So let's play some Magic. Going first with close to a good hand. That 3rd land would be nice, but that turn 1, turn 2 is really as good as it gets. Of course, we will need that 3rd land, or Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea. Let's push the adaptive up to 2. Big money on 3rd land, big money on 3rd land. No whammies. Big money, no whammies. Dang it. Should have left the Gorger on tap, paid life, but whatever. Maybe not, it's hard to say. Losing the adaptive here keeps him from gaining more life. Wow, okay, that's really good. I like to have something that has protection, right? I guess we start just feeding them the draw, or do we block this right away? Maybe we just block it right away. I mean, even if they do single target the adaptive, we get it. And if they want to kill the Spinoderm, the adaptive lives. Alright? So I'm fine with that. Let's just stop any draws that we can from taking place. Cool beans. Oh, shoulders. Alright, Shelly's gonna get a good hit here. We pray that there's no invoke on the back end. Another shakedown is pretty good. This is phenomenal. If only we had one more land. We would be triple casting. Still a pretty good way to push up the team, right? Let's threaten damage for 5 to 15. Okay. I'm okay taking out that heavy like that. Right, they're gonna lose 2 life from the death to 18. It was a 1 mana creature to start with, so we do not mind. 6 land. Gross. Go for the throat on Dross. Good for you. Resolve. Black, shakedown out. Shake that booty. Shake that booty. And then we're gonna tap out again. Take their heavy. Big money, no whammies. Another Arc Fiend, thank you. Push up our shakedown, put out the Arc Fiend, let's go. Push up Gwenna, and we smash. That's 11 big ones, baby. Take that, shoulder. Two cards in hand, 7 available mana with a Shelly in play. We have fairly formidable blockers and a really nice attack. All of this on 3 land I find to be phenomenal as well. That's a lot of power on 3 mana. Well, we have more than 3 mana, but 3 land. Corrupt gains a ton of life. Good for you. Oh, that's great too. That's so good. Another shakedown is going to untap and push up. Trample is the way. I don't want to overextend. They untap this, give us a draw, we go to 7. Oh! Get wrecked, dude. That is not funny. Why do you always laugh after you say that's not funny, HGG? I find that incredibly curious. Don't worry. So do I. I thought they were going to corrupt just us for 7 damage to win. I was like, dang, bro, that's a good move. Mono black unbeatable. This is a big strike. I mean, even if they still remove these, it's well beyond lethal. So they just take it. Good game. Alright, our opponent's going first. We're on the draw. Hello, good game. Scrap Gorger's going to help us win this game. So I will not be playing it now. I guess we can just destroy this. Kind of solves that problem, doesn't it? Certainly during the interim, they're ramping, which I'm not a fan of, but again, keeping my Scrap Gorger to myself, I feel that a deck running the Vat of Rebirth will be important to control. via the grave. So it can sit there, and we're going to just eat out that removal. Damn, that's a good card. I know, right? Nice top deck HGG. All right, did they bring it back on 5, or do we get to start taking control of their grave? Of course, they could also remove the Gorger. Trespasser, so far so good. They take our heavy. And they let us take their grave. Cool. Discard our cut down for the ward. Take the Trespasser. And then take Shieldred. Alright. I mean, we're out of cards. Oh. It's pretty good. Ouch. Ouch. That's good for them, too. Could be worse. I'll take that Obliterator. Set a stop on their turn. I guess we can attack here. And we'll just do it now because of that fight raking. Take the Trespasser as well. Honestly, we're going to need to take our graveyard too, because I think Gix can pull from our grave. Fairly certain. Oh, there goes our little dude. Hey, this is pretty good against single target removal. Obviously, there's the Edict sacrifice effects that could get us still, but not a bad start. 5 cards in hand. Another Trespasser, not shabby whatsoever. Hopefully they take our dross. Thank you. It's funny how I'd prefer that to them actually getting it into play. Alright, more grave control is nice. This is going to trigger the Obliterator also, which is fairly decent. And if they do have a sacrifice effect, it's going to hit that Armored Scrap Gorger instead. 7 down to 10. Five available mana. Invoke Despair, right? Has to be. What else could it be? There's simply no other option. Their own Arcfiend, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. We will grab Trample here, which is also pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Oh my god, Megan, look at that. I think that should be lethal for us. Okay. Beautiful. Going first, keeping 7. A little slow, but at least it's there, right? Underdog is not the worst. Gives us a bit of wiggle room, I believe. No attacks, though, unfortunately. As per Legends. not the worst. We do get the land as well, which is quite enjoyable. Double black with eyes. Arcfiend in play. That pushes up both adaptives. And I think I'm going to swing for 3. A double block I'm totally on board with, right? We would get the Arcfiend triggers. Most worried about Rafine, about Sheoldred. That's why we're saving, go for the throat. Ooh! That's going to kill our Arcfiend. Bully for you. We do get the... LOL. It doesn't attack, though, and that's kind of the bummer here. No blocks, take the damage. Gwenna out, push up both adaptives. Well, Arcfiend out on top of Gwenna, untapping her, adding the +1 counter. Beautiful. Let's swing for 11. It's a big hit. Do we get a double block? Nope, just singles. And I am A-okay with this. This is fantastic. Oh, I'd love the draw too. Thank you. Land is lame. They're gonna lose 4 life here. Shelly's dead on sight. We should be good. 17 life. We can take a hit. We have a really nice blocker. Land out. Core Pilgrim is active as well. Denick for some life gain. Interesting. Gonna take out their life gain here. They lose 2 life to 7. And we smash Ketchum. And I believe this is lethal through the Dross triggers. If not, just the attack. Good game. Going first, we like the hand. A little expensive on our life total, but we'll get that Gorger out. And should solve a lot of that, right? Cut down is active. Couldn't be happier. That actually saves us from paying life. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Go Gadget, Spinoderm. Oh no. I mean, the attack is big, and the hexproof is good. Let's see if we get it. I think they have protection. Good for you. But they're tapped out. You tapped out, boy. No indestructible blockers. I'm coming over. I don't want to put it on the one that sacks. I know it has trample, but the other one will have trample next turn for both. They take it all down to 5. Goodness gracious, I guess they're going to need a march. Right? Start marching these Spinoderms. Another Drake. It's not a good blocker. 2 mana up. 4 cards in hand. If for 2 they draw. Land in play. Have they played a land yet? Yes, they have entered the battlefield this turn. Obliterator is active. Pushes up our adaptive. Swing for 3 hits. 14 damage. Safekeeping is out for indestructible. And 2 life with a copy, so 4 life to 10. And they draw. That's not too bad. I like the life gain, right? You also get to keep your creatures alive. And that helps you block trample damage. They're blocking the Spinoderm that self-sacrifices anyways. Interesting. And the realization hits. When we hit this adaptive, let me just block as much damage as I can. Perfect. Much better. We set our stop on their end step there for the scrap order. Interesting. What is this timely interference? -1. Well, that just stops a bit of the damage. And actually stops lethal as well. Pretty cool. We do end turn here, and well, we could actually be dead. I don't know. Spinoderm 1 self-sacrifices. Taking the draw, they're looking for the answer. Well, taking the double draw. In fact, down to 9, and you can see, like, now if they had a march, right? Some tempo in hand, which at this point they must. I think they could just win the game. 7 cards in hand. How do they not win the game here? Not a great spot for us to be in, but I'll try. It's really easy for them to stop the 2 trample attackers. Down to 1. Oh my gosh. Nice. Yeah, we might just be dead. Spinoderm 1 does get sacrificed, and apparently they don't have any phase out, any bounce, really any sort of tempo play. They could tap it. There's lots of different routes to take here on those 2 trample creatures. Going first with turn 2 ramp skis, we have a turn 3 rigging. Save the heavy for turn 4, I believe. Gives them less opportunity to remove it. I believe anyways. Watch them have enchantment removal. The farmhand. Yikes. This is basically that. So lay down arms is going to be a problem as well. Push up the adaptive. Wedding announcement. Restoration of Inganjo. Maybe they just lay down the adaptive. Cool. Cool. All right, shakedown is up. Second shakedown is now active as well. Pass turn. Set a stop to exile their grave. Pray that there's not a field wipe. I mean, that gets our fight rigging, which isn't bad. At least we had it trigger last turn. Let's take our turn. Oh, hello. A double draw here, I assume. Thank you. Thank you. Let's operate on the assumption that they do not have a field wipe. We will need another card in the grave to turn on our first Armored Scrap Gorger on the attack. 4 mana, 3 planes. Now that total number of planes does matter for things like Laydown Arms. Destroy Evil takes our dross. And then we both draw. Fight rigging is more than acceptable. A second Destroy Evil. That gets a nice. That's pretty good. Okay. Rigging is out. I'm going to take that Spinoderm. It's a little bit more expensive. Also has hexproof. We attack for 10 total. Exile an evil. That turns on the Scrap Gorger. And then we get a draw and untap. Swing for 3. I'm going to keep this Spinoderm in hand at this point in case there is a field wipe. I mean, we know there will be. It's just at what point, right? So, trying to keep creature in hand. We should have done it before the trigger, so I'm going to leave it. And I don't really want to ramp them either, right? That's kind of not ideal. And I forgot to also exile with this Gorger. My bad. Let's make it an attacker anyways. And we're just all in. It's a big hit. They have nice blockers. They can untap the heavy. Right? And they still have 3 cards in hand. Grab some oil counters here. Ooh, that's a nice draw. They're going to sack the farmhand. We each draw. Interesting. And then that taps their other blocker. The 1/1 blocks the 5/5. We get in for 4 to 13. Again, we don't want to fold out our entire hand. Let's hold a little bit of value back in case the worst happens. Interesting. I'd love to see it. I mean, I'm just going to take that because it can exile our goodies, you know? They do get a land. I think that's worth it, though. We grab Trample here. Slam with everything again. Or do we block because Adeline? Adeline is kind of annoying. Let's slam in and see what we get. Obviously, there's a draw here, which is really good. We're going to hit for 6, which is massive. And this is going to force removal. It's going to force a field wipe. Set a stop and exile with our 1 Gorger. AO River. I mean, that stops our flyer, right? And then it flips their wedding. Very good for them. And then take their whole graveyard just because. We will flip this Spinoderm soon. Or, I should say sacrifice. They could have another, like, destroy 4 or greater. That would be real good for them. Let's send in the team. I can almost guarantee we get a draw, but this draw is why we're winning, right? I have a full hand because every turn we're double drawing. I mean, that Spinoderm needs to be blocked as well. Okay, triple block, which is actually really good because it's taking 3 of their creatures just before it self-sacrifices. And then AO is done as well. It's going to grab a couple creatures, but then I think they lose 2, 4, 6, 8 life here because 4 creatures died. So unless they get some life gain from ETBs via AO, that's going to be lethal for us. The Arcfiend is nasty. It's very easy to overlook that ability, right? Like, it's almost as bad, or maybe even worse, than the Meat Hook. What do you think? Going first, keeping our hand. We can pay for the Gorger, that should be fine. We haven't seen, and now I don't want to jinx myself here, but we haven't seen a ton of mono red today, and that's been really nice. Because let me tell you what, it was everywhere yesterday. Passing turn. Wow, we are going to get away with murder. Maybe. Third land. Never mind. There goes our murder. Gives us a card to exile. Cutdown's being held up. We have Spinoderm in play. We'll double drop some Drosses. They'd have to kill the Gorger and then Edict the Spinoderm if they want it. Restoration is active. We love the morning coffee. Oh, wow. This is basically morning coffee as well, you know? It's it for 5. I like the hexproof on this because they could probably be wandering about. You know what I mean. There's a wandering emperor over there. We could be suffering an ill fate via field wipe. Cover your eyes. Probably want to kill that, don't I? And then that's going to give us a greater attack. Still scared of the Emperor. And a field wipe, so I'm going to keep these Drosses in hand and just attack. Take the restoration, I hope. Hi. So you're going to take our Dross?
Feel the energy of battle, then guide it like water.
Sure. 2 life. We hit for 8. Down to 14. Could be worse. Could be a farewell right now. Probably is. I like hard matches. I don't want to play an easy match, right? I want it to be worthwhile. I hate winning, basically. That's what it comes down to. The more I win, the less I want to play. Let's smash in again for another 8. Sack the Walker. Pushing their blast zone to 2 is irrelevant. You can kill my Scrap Gorger? Have at it. Another restoration. Grabbing a Plains from deck, revealing it into hand, then shuffling. Plains in play. Spinoderm self-sacrifices. Ouch! You can't tell me what to do. It's for 3. We could have Gwenna, but I'm nervous. Let's just try to close this out. And it works. Good game. Okay, opponent's going first. Let's keep 7. Vampire deck in the house? Say ayo. Billard. Cycling the blood token already? No? Probably, something we just deal with now, right? Open up the attack lanes. Hit for 1. They're going to cycle Evelyn, the Covetous. Very nice. I like that card quite a bit. Corpse Appraiser. Exiling Evelyn. Or Devolve Darren. So they might try to bring back Evelyn. Oh my lord. Those are some good cards. We will need a land here. No attacks. Pray for a land. Four mana. No attacks. Unless there's first strike, but I doubt it. I'm worried about that counter spell. More than anything, really. Alright, they're going to tap out, which is fine. They take the draw, which is good for us. We get the land, which is phenomenal. Play the Spinoderm, push up the adaptive, double attack, and additional draw through the untap. Then they trade with the Corpse Appraiser on the adaptive. That's going to open up the Edict on the Henrika, I hope. It also takes away their, or the likelihood anyways, because I'd have to play another creature of that sacrifice ability. Okay, Harvester in play. It's going to save them. Potentially, they could sacrifice here. I'm going to lose the Spinoderm. Oh, yeah. Don't care for that. Let's take our hit. Take the draw as well, as we're untapped. Let's kill Henrika. Make disappear? No! Interesting. Adaptive in play. Get that summoning sickness off of it. Nice. They dunk on it with a Vampire's Vengeance. 4 cards in hand. For each of us. They gain life. Pass over. Evelyn has flash coming up right away, doesn't she? Land out. Take our hits / draw. It's removed. Here's a charm. 5 damage. Okay. Hold my Obliterator. there was a counterspell, we would see it, I believe. Here is the cycle of blood tokens to find removal. Tossing first to land. Second land as well. 3 cards after their draw phase. And they go to grave, which makes me nervous. If you're out. There's the Cruelty of Gix bringing back Evelyn. Straight to it. Henrika, and then they sack the creature. Okay, nice. Evelyn might have been better long term, but if they don't have removal, that's a good play, right? Alright, Spinoderm in play. They will need a sack effect again. Not uncommon by any means, out of cycles. For now, land in play. Olivia, nice. So that's going to bring back, I would imagine, Evelyn. No, Henrika. It doesn't trigger because the attack phase is already through. And if they sack a creature, they would need a third one. Let's hit for 5 and try to race. They can grab just, life gain, Needs to be non-targeted removal. They're transforming here. Or maybe they draw, I don't know. They could get away with a draw. So a transform for life gain is good, as they would hit for 6, lethal the turn after. Here they hit for 4, then next turn for 6. I mean, that's going to do it too, right? Plus another creature's coming out. This would be Evelyn. Corpse Appraiser. Weird. Doesn't Evelyn have flying? But they want the removal. No, she does not have flying. Just like that, I have 3 cards in hand, full mana. Burn down the house, kills everyone. It's an interesting play. Might take us a while. Kind of almost want to leave that in our deck to pull organically, but... Oh my god, so this brings back Olivia. It's crazy, I have a deck just like this. Good game though, right? Going first, it's all right. Perfect. Let's take that pack leader. Fight rigging first. Depends on what we draw. Take out the greeters. Push up the Gorger. Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea in play. Jewel Thief is really good. I like that card. More land we don't need, LOL. I will take you, though. Pass, put our stop to exile. Hopefully it's not a defiler. You just had to say it out loud, didn't you, dude? They have a 1-drop on top. Pretty good. No blocks to 14. Big draw. Obliterator in, untap our Gwenna. And then we pass over. Instead of stop, we exile from our own grave. The Obliterator should beat mono green. Unless they're going to swing for lethal, which is very much an option. Oh my god. Not an option, but an inevitability. Holy Toledos. And they don't take it. Wow. We need a big draw. I think we're just dead. Especially if this is like a permanent here. Yep. Lord have mercy. That's too much damage on the dance floor. And they're not even taking it. Cut down is gone. I mean, when they have to block. I think they should have attacked us earlier. Pretty sure they had it. This is going to help us clean the field up, though, is it not? Because they're going to force sack permanents, which would be creatures triggering the draws? Or have I just overextended? 5. We get the draws kill. They draw. And then they have to sacrifice everything, which is more draws triggers and just closes the game out. Did they have lethal the turn before when I was like kind of confused why they weren't attacking, I wonder? I'd have to go back and really do the math, and even then, I'll probably get it wrong. Golgari High-Five is a fantastic deck if you're looking to lose a lot of games. No, I'm kidding. We did pretty good today. It's the way these things go, right? When the sets just come out, decks like this are incredibly powerful and oppressive. However, as the meta does unfold and solidify, there is a lot less, let's be honest, wiggle room for some of these, dare I say, less competitive builds. Now, at the end of each video, I want to start doing this conversation. How competitive is this build for us right now? And it's decent. It's not the worst. It's got to be tier 2. If it's not tier 2, it has to be like a high tier 3, right? And I invite all of you to join in on this conversation. What kind of deck rating would you give this Golgari build? You know, let me know in the comments below, and let's all just kind of rate these decks to wrap up. Obviously, if you have any interpretation as how we can improve the deck, suggestions, constructive criticism, we love it. Tell us what and why. And, you know, at the end of the day, we all get an even better deck to play with, which is phenomenal. So I thank you all for this effort. Cheers. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe while we tear open this beautiful, beautiful collector's pack. Oh, man, you can just smell the Praetors in here, can't you? Easy peasy. Get that out of here. And now for the fun of it, focusing the camera. Here we are, Magic the Gathering deck. I almost said arena, but it definitely doesn't say that. I do like being called a deck master, though. I think that's probably the coolest thing. Annihilating glare with the glare of a holographic. All of the cards in the collector boosters are typically holographic unless you're getting a rare full art. But all of the commons and uncommons are going to be holographics because, you know, that increases the value by literally 1 cent while you pay 3 times extra for a pack. No, I'm just kidding. You do get extra rares within the collector's pack, like quite a few extra than you're typically getting in your regular boosters, along with all of the extra, you know, art treatments or card treatments, I guess you could call them. Holographic Phyrexian Swamp, that is very nice. Corpse Puppet, you know, it's not the worst. It's pretty specific as to what deck you played in, though. So this is a non-holographic that I was talking about, but it is a full art, right? And a Black Sun's Twilight is a card that I would be collecting right now while it's cheap, because I don't see that being cheap forever. A Monumental Corruption for 5. This is a commander card, sorcery speed. Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Play that on top of Shieldred. Just stop it. And like target them to draw. That would be funny. Alt Art Cultivator. Meyer Convert Alt Art Holographic. Phyrexian Treatment Sinew Dancer. We love the Phyrexian Treatment, but not on our commons and uncommons. Okay, this is nice. The Cliffs. Very nice full art here. And then a full art holographic Murex, which is a good land. A really good land to have. So that's got to be quite nice. And then our Might tokens. Everybody loves the Mites. All right, that's not the worst loot we've ever gotten. Getting those lands is really good. The holographic full art Murex, the Cliffs is phenomenal. We got that new commander card. Gonna have to look that up. So I'm actually kind of out of the loop for commander this set. The Black Sun's Twilight, we love that. I think that's actually going to increase in value as we go on. The Phyrexian lands are always really cool, and the Corpse Puppet or whatever is mediocre at best, but they can all be good. Thank you so much for watching. Have an absolute magical day, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Most importantly, we'll see you soon in the next.